All right, and back again. And yeah, we have something special ahead of the grand finals. I am joined by one of our finalists, Yuma Kinugawa. How are you
Hello.
feeling? How are you feeling now that you are in the finals?
I'm happy. And I'll win grand final.
Okay, so you are confident. Nice. You played against Marco in the first round. So
Yes.
how do you think about a rematch with Marco?
It's hard match because Marco's Urshifu is so bulky. Life of us power
Yes. Survive. Yes.
too bulky.
Yeah, I think that is definitely going to be one key mechanic or one key interaction that we will look out for. Now, of course, you have to prepare for your final match, but finally, is there anything you want to say to your friends, maybe, or your fans outside of Japan who are watching? Do you have any words for your foreigner fans?
Thank you. Thank you. I'll do my best.
Okay. All right. And then, well, you already said you are confident to take the title. And best of luck in the finals. Thank you for joining for this short pre-final interview.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we heard it here from Kinugawa, who said that he is confident to take on Marco in the grand finals after he has already beaten him, of course, in round one. One thing that he called out was the fact that Urshifu over on Marco's side was so bulky and, with Earth Power, not getting that knockout. So that is something that we will have to watch out. Whew. Okay. Now
ready?
The finals is set. Yes. Hi, Aaron. Are you ready? I'm definitely ready.
Let's do it.
I'm definitely ready. Well, I still need to set up some stuff here just to make sure that we also get to see the right game. But I think this looks all good. Yeah, it's been a bit of a day. We've had quite a lot of exciting matches, a lot of Incineroar, Urshifu, Rillaboom, but just one more set to close out this Winter Invitational, and I can't wait to jump into it.
The level of play has been awesome. Like, it's so cool to see how the best players in the world approach playing this game, and I feel like there's a lot to learn from how, Marco played the end game of Game 3 against Alex, and how Alex played the opening turns against Wolf, for example. It's been such a treat to watch, and for us to end the day with the matchup that we started with, I think is also so exciting.
Yeah, I mean, that is, of course, quite the story, and of course, that is what can happen with this, double elimination that we're using here for, I think, the first time ever, at least in, like, an online tournament like this. So we'll actually, get to go back to the matchup that started the day. One thing that is important to note is that there will not be any bracket reset possible. So it's just going to be one best of three, even though, of course, Kinugawa coming in from the winner's side. This was decided in advance, and all players agreed to it in advance, just so we, get one best of three as the final. And that is what we will have. Marco against Kinugawa. I don't know, were you even awake for that very first game? You said you saw Thunderous and left. Was that true?
Yeah, I was awake. I was watching it, and so I'm excited to see how Marco has thought about the matchup, because I often feel like when rematches happen, I favored the person that lost, because I think high-level VGC players, the best of the best, are obsessive with figuring out why they lost, and then also figuring out how to prevent it from happening in the future. And so I'm sure Marco's giving it some thought. I'm sure right after the game he was like, oh man, these are the things that I should have done. And then the onus is then on Kinugawa to maybe figure out some new game plans, because it's hard to kind of execute the same game plan over and over again against someone that like surely has thought about how to adapt.
Absolutely. And then for one last time, let's have a quick look at the teams that we will get to feature in this grand finals. Of course, Marco, I think he has had the most battles out of anyone, losing in the first round, but then not only overcoming Wolf, but also beating Alex in that nail-biting game we just saw. Very, very powerful team. Pretty standard, and then also in the set against Alex, got to use that Raging Bolt to quite a lot of success. Yeah, and then over on Kinugawa's side, we've also seen this team now a bunch of times before. It is that Iron Bundle and Thunderous, 2 Pokemon we don't get to see that often in this format, but they provided excellent support for Landorus and Urshifu and this team, who are, the damage dealers, I would say. And now it's just down to one best of 3. It's already quite late in Japan, so I hope Kinugawa can keep the energy up. But I'm sure, a matchup like this against one of the best players in the world is definitely something that will keep him awake.
I think one thing that's also been fascinating is, Marco's team, like the 6 Pokemon are not surprises by any means. These Pokemon have existed in combination with each other for quite a while. In the previous run of the regulation, we saw Landorus being used over the Fluttermane slot, but there aren't any like crazy surprises, but he's just like used it so effectively. He of course has the unique Fluttermane set, which has been taking over the regulation. And then I think like the defensive Terras on Pokemon like Urshifu and Chien-Pao have been absolutely huge as well. But overall, it really feels like Marco, like his play specifically, is carrying the team. Like he's willing to take huge risks, right? We saw him surging strikes in front of an Ogerpon previously that had, of course, Follow Me. We also saw him going for a Dragon Pulse into Alex's super low HP Rillaboom when he could have Thunderclap, predicting Alex to go for Fake Out. And so it's just the level of play that's coming from Marco. Like there's a reason why he's able to pilot this like seemingly standard team and just do like make it look so good.
And he has shown it so far in this tournament. Now it is time again to show it in the grand finals up against Kinugawa. Definitely, his biggest challenge yet. Can Marco overcome Kinugawa, who dropped him down to the losers bracket, or will Kinugawa, finalize and sweep the tournament undefeated? We will find out about that now. A very unconventional lead coming out from Kinugawa here. It's Rillaboom and Incineroar. Usually I always say, players like to try and avoid this positioning because of how passive it is. But it seems like Kinugawa goes into it very, very willingly as the lead. Have you seen that before, Aaron?
No, definitely not. Yeah, I mean, like the double Fake Out is always valuable, and you of course get the Intimidate off immediately as well. But it's certainly like his team just has so many offensive options. So it's interesting to see him lean into it, but not a terrible lead, I think.
Yeah, and it seems like Marco definitely feeling the pressure and goes for a very unconventional play as well, going for the Protect and a Fake Out himself just to neuter that threat of Fake Out over on Kinugawa's side.
So 3 Fake Out users hit the field to start the game. In the end, it ends up being a fairly neutral turn, right? I think this next turn, the Urshifu on Marco's end certainly faces some pressure from the Rillaboom, but you're also pressuring with Surging Strikes. Marco has loved going for the defensive Steel Terra with his Urshifu, but one of the things you have to watch out for is if you commit that Terra, we know like Kinugawa has Landorus and Urshifu in the back. Both of those can really take advantage of a potential Steel Terra from Marco's end.
Yeah, and I mean, with that Terra Steel, Marco has shown a couple of times how valuable that is just to get those resistances. And Incineroar over on Kinugawa's side under a lot of pressure by this Urshifu, and Kinugawa, no Fake Out active, has to do something about this positioning. Makes a good call though, switching out Incineroar into Urshifu to potentially take that Surging Strikes, and also of course to reset Intimidate, to reset Fake Out. A wise man once said, the most valuable position for Incineroar is when it's off the board and in the back.
Crucially, baiting out the Steel Terra here, though, right? It is Surging Strike, so I think Kinugawa probably very happy with this turn. Marco was hoping to bring in the Incineroar, reduce the damage output from the opposing side, going for that Steel Terra to cover for a Wood Hammer. But I think Kinugawa has now forced the Terra out. And even though Wood Hammer here is not going to do the most amount of damage, now you are, of course, immensely threatened by close combat as well as attacks from the Landorus in the back.
Yeah, I like the Woodhammer just to ensure that the Terra has to be committed if Marco wants to go on the offensive here. And yeah, considering the fact that there is no close combat over on Kinugawa's Urshifu, it really kind of likes when the opponent terrestrializes their Urshifu, so you can hit it for just a little bit more damage. Now, of course, Terra Steel would not have really helped against close combat either. But now, Searching Strikes definitely are a threat for Kinugawa. But yeah, it's always just so awkward when the Incineroar, Rillaboom, Urshifu cycle plays out, just because it's so tough to just break through it. Like Marco could now swap their Incineroar into Rillaboom, but yeah, because he terrestrialized, I guess Marco has to be a little bit more careful because he broke his own kind of core there a little bit defensively.
It's quite interesting to actually see Fake Out plus Surging Strikes here into the Urshifu rather than something like a Fake Out plus a Close Combat, maybe predicting a switch on that Urshifu slot. And so the high horsepower here also doing pretty decent damage into Incineroar. I think Marco probably would have been happier maybe getting the knockout here onto the Urshifu. I'm trying to think if it would have been good if, Urshifu... Like, if it was intentional to keep Urshifu around, but now, you still... the crucial thing here is no close combat on this Urshifu, right? That's, so... that actually makes that Steel Terror just so much safer.
Yes, and I think you didn't want to go for close combat yourself from Marco's side, just so you don't drop your defense, and so high horsepower maybe, doesn't, I don't know, get the KO on Urshifu, just because, Urshifu is just naturally, such a nice Pokemon into Kinugawa's team, as we also saw in some of the previous sets that Kinugawa has played. But, it seems like, once more, Urshifu will just both stay on the field and no switches. Searching Strikes comes out first from Kinugawa, doing a decent chunk to this Urshifu, now that it's terrestrialized to Steel.
So trade-offs in the Surging Strikes, but the lack of close combat meant that Marco could play this a little bit safer. He is still playing down his Terra crucially, and of course his Urshifu is quite low. I think Kinugawa having the Landorus is also quite a big deal, because Landorus being able to just click Earth Power Sandstorm Storm is looking so good from this position, but we'll have to see first what the Rillaboom decides to do. It is going to target down that Urshifu, get the knockout. One of the things I'm thinking about, though, is Marco's got that Chien-Pao on his team. If you bring Chien-Pao out, that is quite a scary Pokemon for Landorus to stare down.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Landorus has proven to be so strong on Kinugawa's team in some of the previous sets. Now, of course, having played against each other before in the same tournament, and also maybe they were able to study these games against Alex, who is also using, or who was also using an Incineroar Rillaboom based team. So you can definitely get some information as to how both of them like to approach these type of matchups. But now with that parting shot, getting to reposition, I think Rillaboom plus Chien-Pao coming in is definitely a strong spot now for Marco. And Urshifu is already down. That's always great for Chien-Pao. And there is Landorus coming in. Wow, it's not the Incineroar for Kinugawa.
I think one thing that's interesting is the Poison Terra on the Landorus feels relatively safe at this point, right? It does mean that you open up a weakness to the high horsepower from the opposing side, so it's not just guaranteed, I can go for this Terra and not get punished at all. To me, it's Kinugawa's played this game in a way to try to sweep with the Landorus, but a couple things to watch out for, right? Will Poison Terra, Sludge Bomb get the knockout onto Rillaboom? Chien-Pao also has its Focus Sash, so effectively, both of these Pokemon kind of feel like they have 2 lives in front of them, and so the ability to switch into Incineroar means not only do you get an Intimidate off against both of these, but then Fake Out can give you the chip damage to either put Rillaboom in KO range or break the Focus Sash from Chien-Pao. So I think this play is really safe. It makes a lot of sense, but Marco could try to go for advanced prediction and Sacred Sword, high horsepower to switch in.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit telegraphed. Bringing in Landorus kind of tells me that that was the plan all along. But there it comes. Yeah, Marco seeing right through it. Wow, and it is the double up as well.
So much damage.
Yeah. Yeah, like
A beautiful, beautiful play.
yeah, it's just the game, right? Like, yeah, sure, you bring in Rillaboom and Landorus, like you're anticipating that Jianpao would be in the back. Like I was thinking the same thing. Like switching in Landorus like already tells me like Kinugawa planned this protect and switch play, and Marco being a player of his caliber, yeah, just anticipates this, goes for the double target into Rillaboom, hits Incineroar on the switch in, but thanks to Intimidate and the Shuka Berry, it actually manages to survive and make it through the turn.
Yeah, the crucial thing here is, like, it feels like most of the damage output now is coming from Landorus. Instant taking so much damage is quite bad. It's one Sacred Sword away from getting knocked out. I think if you are Kinugawa, like, you definitely want to commit the Terra on the Landorus, right? Because if not, then you will just get one-hit KO'd by Jianpao. This turn, you were threatening with something like Fake Out, so might not necessarily have needed to Terra, but it's going to be the swaps coming around from both players this time around.
Yeah, now I think after getting all the damage down, now Marco is feeling like much more happy with where he is in this game currently, because yeah, with Jianpao, now everything would be in KO range, so you can kind of anticipate this Landorus is going for a Terra at one point or the other. And yeah, if you can manage to get Jianpao back to neutral attack set maybe at some point, like and get just a little bit of damage into this Landorus, then yeah, you might be looking for a win still in the game. Oh wow, but well, Kinugawa is saying, well,
what?
You know what? I can predict as well. It goes for the Sludge Bomb and hits Incineroar for the knockout as Jianpao just protects.
The fact that it got the knockout there, honestly, I was expecting it to survive there.
Yeah.
It's a testament to how powerful Landorus is. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, with
That's
the
crazy.
yeah, with the Terra boost as well, like, yeah, we're not used to to that damage, I guess, from other formats because of, yeah, how sheer force and the Terra boost, it's just, yeah, absurd. But
and
now,
that's such
yeah,
a big knockout to get, right? And, like, the key thing is, once again, you still kind of, like, yeah, my question is whether or not Sludge Bomb KOs the Rillaboom here. With Fake Out plus Sludge Bomb, actually, it definitely should. And so Rillaboom is going to end up flinching. And it's just Sacred Sword, actually, into the Rillaboom slot. So maybe trying to fish once again. But Kinugawa's Landorus is just ripping through Marco right now. 2 knockouts back-to-back. And it is a critical hit there. I'm not sure how much that mattered, though.
yeah, I think, yeah, even with that Assault Vest, the Landorus just being so offensive. And, yeah, then with the way that Marco approached this, going for that Sacred Sword, like, there was, yeah, it didn't really matter, I guess, whether that KO'd or not, since it just meant that, yeah, it was just over from there. And, yeah, with that, Kinugawa goes up 1-0 in the grand finals here. Yeah, well, just one game away from taking home the title, from becoming the first Summit of Champions champion. Need to work on that one a little bit. Becoming the Winter Invitational champion. Yeah, now it's once again on Marco to come up with a plan of, yeah, how to come back against this team that has already beaten him in the very first round of the event. Yeah, it cannot be Raging Bolt, can it?
No, I was going to say, it's just this Landorus is a menace, right? Like, the fact that it was able to just, like, come out and be able to potentially threaten one-hit KOs onto things, like, can definitely understand why Kinugawa was prioritizing knocking out Urshifu, because, like, Surging Strikes is just annoying for Landorus, both obviously before Terra and after Terra. You got to find a better path to Landorus, right? I'm trying to figure out what the game plan is, though, because, like you said, I don't think Raging Bolt is the solution unless you somehow get, like, 2 Calm Minds off before Landorus even hits the field.
Yeah, but even then, that's hard to do. And even then, I had a game like using this team where like I was at +2 and I was like, haha, I'm gonna go Terra Fairy, and then the Landorus went Terra Poison Sludge Bomb and still like KO'd me from, I don't know, 70% or something. So yeah, like even then, it's really really tough to face Landorus with a Raging Bolt based team. And so I think, yeah, it's probably going to be the same 4 again for Marco, but yeah, has to come up with a way to maybe use Urshifu better. I guess trading Urshifu for Landorus, that would be the dream scenario for Marco in this game 2 that he has to win or else Kinugawa would be the champion, and Kinugawa going back to what he liked to do in some of the other matches as well, just going for Rillaboom and Thunderous, just spreading some paralysis, and yeah, I think getting a Thunder Wave off on Urshifu, that would be the dream for Kinugawa right now.
Yeah, you definitely threaten with Fake Out and the Thunder Wave immediately. On Marco's end, you could just like protect on the first turn, bypass the Fake Out, and then go from there. There's no Ghost Terra, crucially, here on the Chien-Pao or the Urshifu. Both are Pokemon that sometimes like carrying it. So the Chien-Pao right now is exerting a ton of offensive pressure, but because of the threat of Fake Out on turn 1, like I think Kinugawa probably feels decently okay here, knowing that Marco has to respect it. And as he is going to respect it, it's going to be Protect from Chien-Pao.
Yeah, I think tanking it slow makes a lot of sense here, and just going for the double protect. But that, of course, then gives Kinugawa the option to go for a Thunder Wave next turn. Now, something that Marco liked to do in their previous set was to switch Urshifu into Incineroar. And yeah, then he would actually have 2 Dark types on the field and can take Thunder Wave and just absorb that. So I think that is the play that is in the air right now, I would say. Switching Urshifu into Incineroar and then going for Icicle Crash into either Rillaboom or Thunderous. But knowing that, of course, Marco then could use this pressure that he has to maybe come up with a different play. Maybe anticipating an Incineroar switch in, for example, from Kinugawa, which would make a lot of sense to counter this the play that I was just describing.
Exactly, and the Incineroar switch-in does end up coming out, but there's always a risk in making the switch because you open yourself to eating up a Surging Strikes, and it's no switch on the Urshifu end, so the Chien-Pao will do a lot of damage, get a critical hit there with the Icicle Crash. And Thunderous here is going to double miss? Oh, man.
Wow, again. Oh, we've seen this before. So, yeah, I think, well, Kinugawa made the kind of right call, I guess. Not going for the Thunder Wave, going for the Wild Bolt Storm, but it's just being knocked out. This has happened before. Kinugawa double missed before. Thunder is really not missing its marks these days.
And that's, of course, one of the most inconsistent things about using Thunderous, right? In a format like this, where Wild Bolt Storm is so good, it's hard to not want to run it. It's just like so much better than Thunderbolt, but you do open yourself up to big misses. And I mean, that miss was absolutely huge, right? Because it may have just gotten the knockdown onto Urshifu, would break the Focus Sash on Chien-Pao. Complete disaster there. And like you said, the Incineroar did kind of get what it wanted to, but crit plus double miss puts Kinugawa definitely in a much tougher position now. But it was all about Landorus in the previous game. We'll see what Landorus can do now this time around.
Yeah, well, Marco definitely wants to kind of ride this advantage that he has right now. And I think, bringing in Fake Out and just really using Urshifu to the max is the plan now for Marco. As with that Thunderous out of the picture, Urshifu being so powerful against this type of team, definitely makes a lot of sense. But once again, Landorus going for this Terra Poison that I think it really has to in this matchup against Urshifu and Chien-Pao. Both defensively is great, and also then, of course, getting this extra boost there. Just playing it defensively with this Detect, but it seems like the switch was called once more. Sludge Bomb just one-hitting that Rillaboom. Really, really nice play once more by Kinugawa.
And it just gets the one-hit KO, right? This set, in my opinion, has like showcased how good Landorus is as a Pokemon. And we already knew this like the last time we played this format, but the fact that you have one-hit KO potential onto basically like everything on Marco's team just makes it so scary. And for it to be able to one-shot an Assault Vest Pokemon feels kind of nasty. Yeah,
and I mean, having the I guess type advantage against both Incineroar and Rillaboom has really come up many times now in these games, and every time you need to make the decision, okay, is it going to be a switch or not? Are you going for the Earth Power and Sludge Bomb? And it just seems like Kinugawa just gets it right every single time. And now this double miss in the first turn definitely was bad, but now if he can get this right again with a Fake Out Earth Power, but it's just the trade of Fake Outs. Also, Landorus won't be able to move this turn.
I think the crucial thing here, though, is that Kinugawa's Landorus is just faster than everything, right? And so, like, the Landorus, like, not only is faster, but also can pressure with the one-hit knockout, making it so scary here. And so, like, it feels like Landorus is still in full control of this game. And it, like, being able to just get knockout after knockout without facing a threat of, like, too much damage on the opposing side is, I think, what's made this really tricky, right? So, like, the current board state is, how do you get around this, right? You could always Earth Power into Urshifu. Urshifu could obviously then protect, but then if Urshifu protects, then Incineroar is vulnerable to just eating up damage from Landorus and Rillaboom.
Yeah, now it's another one of those turns where like Earth Power is threatening a KO on either target. So yeah, where are you targeting? Incineroar, of course, cannot go for the protect. Marco thinks that, well, he cannot risk losing Incineroar just to an Earth Power, so goes for the Terra Ghost, but of course, yeah, there's always the chance of a double up.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see though, Urshifu going for the detect there. He's just too good at it, is he?
He's goated. He's goated. Like.
Well, Citrus Berry healing up Incineroar just a little bit more, but there it is, the Woodhammer follow-up. And just barely. Wow. So yeah, once again, it's one of those cases where Kinugawa gets the turn absolutely right, but thanks to clever investment and the Citrus Berry, the Incineroar of Marco actually gets that parting shot down onto Landorus. And, well, I mean, you get to go into Qianpao. There's still always I guess the threat of an Icicle Crash flinch lingering around. But I don't know if you can play around that in this spot.
Yeah, I mean, the other question I have is you could just switch into Incineroar, right? And go for an Earth Power onto Urshifu. So my question then is there any chance Urshifu is bulky enough to survive? Because if not, then that feels relatively safe. The Intimidate just stacks up on Qianpao so quickly as well. But, ooh, okay, we're actually seeing a potential different switch into the Incineroar here. Interesting. It's the Landers pivoting out into Incin.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you gotta get ahead wherever you can, and maybe mixing it up like this sometimes can be a good idea. Getting Intimidate on Qianpao, absolutely crucial.
Oh!
And...
oh my goodness!
Wow. What a read now. So these players are just like taking turns here, just like going all out. And just like that, well, Marco now is saying, well, you wanna hard read with a double up, I can do the same thing. I guess like your play of switching an Incin for Rilla and then just going for the attack, like this Landorus has Sensory Storm as well, so you don't have to go for Earth Powers as well. But now maybe is this game back into Marco's favor?
It feels like it, right? Like it feels like this tug of war that's gone back and forth. The key thing here is Marco being able to switch out of this Intimidate now, right? And Qianpao being able to reset. But Icicle Crush still won't one-shot Landers, and so yeah, I think Kinugawa trying to take a risk there, but it does not pay off at all. Even if Landers gets the knockout here, Qianpao now will be able to reset. Targets into the Urshifu, knockoff into Incin. So we're down to a 2v2 now. And with Urshifu having protected, you could always just go for Earth Power into it, right? And so my key question still remains, like, does Landers one-shot the Urshifu, or did Marco train his Urshifu to survive either an Earth Power or Poison Terra Sludge Bomb? Yeah,
well, we saw in the previous set that it did indeed survive the Earth Power. Now, of course, we have a little bit of chip on it. Might not be enough. But I wonder, like... no, there's no way that Aqua Jet Icicle Crash gets this Landorus. So...
oh, and then the other question is, does Sacred Sword KO Incin from this range?
Yeah, I think Marco is not convinced. I think did he double it up with Aqua Jet Sacred Sword? I think he might have.
Yeah. Not confident on getting the knockout, so Aqua Jet comes out, Sacred Sword comes out, Incineroar now has fainted.
And now it comes down to this. I mean, are you going for Earth Power to probably get the KO on Urshifu, or are you just hoping for Sanseer Storm rolls? But no, it's going to be the Earth Power, gets the KO, and now it's a true 1v1 Well, if Icicle Crash hits, then we know how this one goes, but there's always the chance, of course, of it missing.
Well, that was so dicey. Yeah, the fact that Earth Power was a knockout onto the Urshifu made me think Kinugawa maybe should have just stayed in with Landorus like previously and then switched out the other way. But now it should be Qianpao advantage if it connects. Icicle Crash comes out and it does connect.
Okay, well, you need one more of those because Landorus can take it, will bring the Qianpao down to its Focus Sash. Unless you think Ice Shard gets it from here?
I feel like it's just out of range.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's enough. Wow.
Wow, he must have been really confident.
Yeah.
I was not confident that I was going to get the knockout. I thought he had to Ice Crash again.
Wow. And like that, well, we are going to a Game 3, the final decisive game of this tournament between Marco and Kinugawa. I guess finally, after Kinugawa won the first 3 games that they played, now Marco takes one, and yeah, wow, in what a fashion. Positioning this Qianpao nicely until the very end, and then also knowing these damage calculations. I mean, wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for this. I wanted to see the Game 3 in the Grand Finals. Sure, why not? But with all the back and forth as well there, with the hard reads, the double targets, yeah, this previous game definitely had a lot. But now our players will have to do it one more time. The last and final game of the Summit of Champions Winter Invitational between marcofiero and Kinugawa is coming up. Any last predictions, Aaron?
Oh my goodness. I mean, the fact it was that close despite the double miss from Wild Bolt Storm, like, I feel like the matchup should be favored for Kinugawa, specifically because I think Landorus is just such a good Pokemon. And that game probably would have looked quite different if even one of the 2 Wild Bolt Storms connected. So I'm probably still favoring Kinugawa coming into this, but Marco is a player that can clearly outplay everyone in the world. And so I'm really excited to see how he tries to maneuver through this final game. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, wow, some really high class gameplay coming out from both our players, but in the end, as always, only one can be the champion. Is it going to be Marco? Is it going to be Kinugawa? It seems like for the last time, Kinugawa switching things up once more. Incineroar and Thundurus up against Incineroar, and once more, of course, Urshifu's got to be there for Marco.
So Thundurus, once again, putting on pressure with those Wild Bolt Storms immediately. It's just so crucial whether or not you connect on the Urshifu. It really makes all the difference. And if, like, the difference between hitting and missing is the difference between Urshifu getting attacks off, right? Because it feels like Urshifu is such a key Pokemon. I think for Kinugawa, you probably consistently try to play around the Poison Terra Landorus. Like, it just feels like a really, good win condition overall. So it makes sense to, once again, try to, like, whittle away and then bring it out later on in the battle.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, this time around, Kinugawa does not want Incineroar, of course, to take any Surging Strikes. Will swap out into Rillaboom. Now let's see if Marco has called this with the Fake Out and with the attack. Okay. Terra coming out on Incineroar.
Oh, wow.
Just to ensure, I guess, that there is no Fake Out going into it and that you can stop Thundurus. Maybe this is a double up into the Thundurus? No. Alright, maybe. Then this is Marco saying, okay, well, I need to Terra my Incineroar in this matchup anyway. As it's another miss there by the Wild Bolt Storm. And just saying that, okay, I need Incineroar to Terra anyway against this Landorus later on. So I might just do it now. Maybe if like you misplay, I'll get the like you will like Fake Out into it, and then I have a great spot into Incineroar next turn by bringing in Rillaboom. And yeah, if you switch in Rillaboom, then I can Parting Shot out and bring in Qianpao and have yeah, an offensive threat like that.
It is interesting because I think, like, the Steel Terra we've seen committed on Urshifu previously, It's not the most important Terra here, especially because it actually opens up more weaknesses. The main thing that the Steel Terra helps again is both Rillaboom as well as Thunderous. But by going for Protect here, you ensure you're not going to take damage from it initially. But yeah, it's still to me about like how much damage can Chien-Pao and the Urshifu do. And
oh wow! And this time it hits. Not quite any KO, but that is a lot of chip damage. Yeah, that will definitely guarantee like Sandsteer Storm getting a double knockout. So yeah, if Kinugawa can set that up somehow, then yeah, this is huge. Basically, after how we saw game 2, how close it was, even after the double miss, now getting both hits in against Chien-Pao and Urshifu.
The thing that gives me pause, Marcus, is you said Sandsteer, and Sandsteer, it's just as inaccurate as Wild Bolt.
Oh yeah.
And so
well,
one of the key questions is, do you want to commit to that, or would you rather go for the Earth Power? Because the downside of going for Earth Power is if you target into a Protect, and then the other Pokemon gets a free attack into you, that could be a complete disaster. And I mean, Chien-Pao's damage output was actually quite significant, right? As we saw in the end of game 2, where Ice Skull Crash into Ice Shard was actually enough to knock out even Poison Terra Landorus. And so, like, one of the things for Kinugawa was figuring out how to weave in Intimidate from Incineroar along the way. But in order to do that, you also have to be careful, of course, about Rillaboom, Urshifu being able to Surging Strike your Incineroar. That being said, I think the Ghost Terra commit from earlier on Marco's end now means that the Urshifu is threatened just so much more because you can't defensively Terra at any point.
Yeah, but you can switch in Incineroar much easier into this Landorus, and I think, yeah, I guess Marco has identified that you need to have both fake out Pokemon. Like, you need to be able to swap in Rillaboom, and then even if Kinugawa goes for the hard read again and gets the knockout, you still have another Pokemon that you can swap into these ground type moves. And I think, yeah, it's once more, it's one of those turns where you would want to go for a Protect, switch into one of your fake outers, but let's see if Kinugawa called it once more.
Poison Terra, so consistent on this Landorus, so few ways, of course, to get punished from the opposing side. Really only that Rillaboom with high horsepower that threatens it. And we've seen, how much Sludge Bomb has done from this Pokemon throughout the course of the set. Grassy Glide ends up going out into the Rillaboom, and it feels like Kinugawa's gotten every turn correctly. He decides to actually just play it safe here, go for the Sandsteer Storm plus the Grassy Glide. And so it actually works out quite well for Marco, where now he's gotten his Rillaboom in safely and can fake out this next turn.
Yeah, I think this was really important here for Marco to get this positioning, because now, yeah, we can see all of his Pokemon are slowly, getting lower and lower, whereas over on Kinugawa's side, well, Thunderous is already down, but both Landorus and Rillaboom are still healthy. And having a Pokemon like Landorus that has a move that is powerful and hits both targets, like, that can very, very quickly just like wipe your board if your Pokemon get lower. So getting this positional switch in and now threatening the Fake Out plus Surging Strikes, yeah, definitely something that Marco needed here. But
you don't baiting out, yeah.
You don't have to commit.
Exactly. I think the threat of Grassy Glide, KOing Urshifu was really scary here, and so ends up being the Incineroar to pivot in. But it's the Wood Hammer coming out, and it does pretty meaningful damage. Like you said, like, nothing's getting knocked out right now, but everything is around, hovering between like the 50-60% range. And crucially, like, the Landorus still has not really taken that much damage. It is vulnerable to like another Fake Out this next turn, and so if you wanted to circumvent that, you could actually switch the Landorus out potentially into Incineroar, but looks like Kinugawa, of course, could consider switching the other way around as well.
And this is, yeah, really coming closer and closer, coming down to the wire here. Marco has the Pokemon advantage, but Kinugawa still has this powerful Landorus that helped him to overcome many, many balanced teams before this one. Switching in Incineroar, very, very safe thing to do against Rillaboom and Incineroar. And yeah, the question though, again, did Marco call this? And can he use this for repositioning? It's a high horsepower aimed at that Terra Poison Landorus. And then Incineroar, yep, going for the parting shot. Makes a lot of sense. No matter kind of what happens, you will be able to kind of reposition. And then thanks to the Terra Ghost, you have a switch in to Landorus this next turn.
It feels so tense, right? Like, I feel like Landorus is just waiting to start getting the knockouts, but hasn't accomplished that yet, but we've seen just how quickly it can snowball in the previous games. And so I think Marco's doing a good job of trying to combine the fake outs and stop like the bleeding a little bit, but you also need to get damage off at some point. And it feels like the current board states haven't led to, say, a huge Surging Strikes getting off, right? Or a huge Icicle Crash or Sacred Sword, for example. So I think Marco's continuously hunting for an angle where he can finally get some damage off. But once again, I do think like Landorus being the naturally faster Pokemon among most of these makes it slightly tricky.
Yeah, what is very tricky as well, the fact that grassy terrain now is gone. Marco was at least enjoying a little bit of health recovery each turn. Now we'll have to potentially pivot out, and I mean, it is just so telegraphed once more. Like you can detect Urshifu and switch Rillaboom into Incineroar, but then once more, we've seen Kinugawa time and time again just call out these swaps. And so it seems like Marco's thinking about doing something differently this time. But it is the Sensor Storm and gets the knockout on Urshifu. That is very, very big.
Yeah, absolutely huge. And one of the things as high horsepower, I mean, it does good damage, but I'm not sure that's in KO range from, I mean, definitely not a Ice Shard.
No.
His Parting Shot comes out as well. Like, one of the key things is with Landorus, you could lock into Earth Power, you could lock into Sludge Bomb, but Sensor Storm is kind of like a, hey, I can click this, and no matter what, I'm guaranteed to get damage off.
Yeah.
The main thing there is, like, you have the ability to maybe knock out the Rillaboom, but, you know, knocking out an Urshifu is always a pretty big deal when you have an Incineroar in the back, because at this point, if you look at the Pokemon that Marco has, none of them actually deal with Incineroar super well.
Yeah, and this Urshifu, Kinugawa said it in the short interview before the finals, that is the one Pokemon that he was worried about. Now that is out of the picture. Now Tianpao, it's so low, but it should be out of range of a Grassy Glide, especially with a switch in of Intimidate. And yeah, this game, if Marco wants to win this, it has to be carried by Tianpao at this point.
Absolutely. Rillaboom here actually going to make the pivot out, but feels like Kinugawa has gotten the chip damage that he's needed on everything to clean this one up. We'll see, as Intimidate not super impactful, of course, on the Landorus, but relevant for the Rillaboom. Tianpao going for the Protect, making sure it doesn't faint to potential double up this turn like Fake Out, plus the Earth Power. Rillaboom ends up just targeting into the Tianpao, trying to make sure it doesn't get an attack off here. And it is going to be the Poison Terra Sludge Bomb onto the Incineroar. So, of course, it does resist that, but still takes a hefty amount. Crucially, though, I think the Citrus Berry actually has been such a big item for the Incineroar throughout this run. Like, it continuously gets Incineroar back into a healthier range. And so I think absolutely making the right play here. But this next turn, of course, you could just protect Landorus and then pivot Rillaboom out.
Yeah, that is one of those positions where had Incineroar not gone for the Terra Ghost, then it might have just gone down to the Sludge Bomb on the switch in. So, well, we're back into this now. It's Marco that has the Fake Out active. Is this the moment where you make a read and just go after Rillaboom and just like Parting Shot and Icicle Crash?
It feels like it, right? It's giving me a little bit of deja vu. So we'll see. Because the obvious play, once again, is you just protect Landorus, switch it Incineroar. So Kinugawa going for it again. It's going to be Fake Out this time onto the Rillaboom.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, Icicle Crash into Rillaboom as well. So once again, Landorus, had it just gone for a Sandstone Storm there or Protect Switch into Instant, I think both would have worked out well. But this ends up being the best possible outcome for Marco. Like, super hard read, right?
Yeah, but it works out once again. And now... once again, we got the Terra Ghost on Instant. You can maybe use that, swap out Tianpao, and go for Parting Shot. Or you can hard switch into Rillaboom and Protect. I guess either of those options, you will have Fake Out plus Tianpao next turn, and can go after the Rillaboom slot. And, I mean, maybe Kinugawa needs like another round of Intimidate on this Tianpao, so that Landorus can take Icicle Crash. But yeah, Marco is making this so difficult.
Yeah, it felt like Kinugawa had such a big advantage, but that turn kind of brings Marco back into it. And the other thing is, like, Kinugawa theoretically could be attacking offensively with the Incineroar, right? It has Flare Blitz, it has Knockoff, but he's opted not to do that. And what another play by Marco. It feels like he is clinging on for tournament life. He wants to be the champion so bad, and he is fighting his heart out right now. A double up into the Chen Pao. And Chen Pao protects. Wow.
Yeah, once again, Marco getting those turns right. And now Kinugawa is stuck with Insyn and Rillaboom on the field. So this can be Fake Out into Insyn and Icicle Crash into Rillaboom. And there's not a lot that Kinugawa can do about this. Now, I guess the threat, though, would be for Insyn to switch out into Landorus to reposition and to get in that another crucial round of Intimidate. So, yeah, Marco can think about if he wants to kind of punish that switch or if he wants to go for the safe play of going for Fake Out and Icicle Crash into Rillaboom. And no switch from Incineroar.
Wow. No switch, able to eliminate the Rillaboom as well. I don't know. Like, you know, Marcus, if you asked me a few turns ago, I would say that the game was over and I thought Kinugawa had it, but I feel like Marco has made kind of the exact right play, kind of 3 turns in a row, and now is in this position where you could also pivot out the Chen Pao. Oh, it's so close.
Yeah, and Kinugawa down.
It's still scary. You still have to deal with Incineroar, though, right? Like, Incineroar's damage is so big as well with Flare Blitz and Knockoff.
Yeah, and we could be in the kind of exact same spot, but with another round of Intimidate on Marco's Mons had Kinugawa swapped out Incineroar into Landorus. Now, though, now that I see the HP again on the Landorus, I think it should survive Icicle Crash. So, yeah, you still need to find a little bit of extra chip, but yeah, if you can swap out Chen Pao, reset the attack stat, and kind of make it through this turn without losing too much. I guess you could be double knocked out though by Earth Power Flare Blitz. Let's see though.
Oh, let's see. It's so tense.
Okay, Sludge Bomb getting the knockout on Rillaboom. Now let's see what did Incineroar decide to do. Okay, this time it is the Flare Blitz. Well, a little bit of recoil, but even though Chen Pao now at neutral, does it come down to like a call this turn where you target? Like you can fake out the Incineroar and then it's either Sacred Sword or Icicle Crash?
Yep, exactly. I'm trying to think like if it's like a true 50-50, if there's a reason to, go for something else.
I mean, if you Icicle Crash... If you Icicle Crash into the Protect, like, do you, like... You could still go for it
might still be okay.
Next turn.
Well, the problem is, how do you do enough damage to Incineroar?
Yeah, then it's Flare Blitz and Knockoff, I guess. Oh, but Knockoff is not gonna KO Marco's Insyn, but yeah. Okay, it's gonna be Fake Out into Insyn, and then one move from Chen Pao. Is it gonna be Sacred Sword into Incineroar? What will Kinugawa do? Protect or attack with this Landorus? This is what it is coming down to here in Game 3 of the Grand Finals.
This is so tense. And then the other thing is, if you attack with Landorus, do you just click Sandseer Storm, being like, I can win the game on the spot?
Yeah.
You know, and open yourself up to
I think you... I don't know.
Oh my goodness, it all comes down to it. Let's see what happens.
Okay, it's Protect. It's gonna be the Fake Out into the Insyn. And, well, if you paid attention, you already know it. But it is the Icicle Crash into Landorus. So, well, what we're saying is Icicle Crash into Landorus, knock it out, then Flare Blitz knocks out Chen Pao, and then it's a 1v1 Incineroar versus Incineroar. And because Marco has Terrestrialized into Ghost, Kinugawa can get, super effective hits in. I guess that's it, though. The other option, though, the Sacred Sword? No, Insyn is not going to knock out Landorus.
Yeah, I think you have to Icicle Crash here.
Oh, it seems like maybe Marco has other plans.
Wow.
And he calls it again. Earth Power knocking out Incineroar, I guess covering for the Icicle Crash miss. And then this should be Flare Blitz into the Chen Pao. Wow. Yeah, it seems like Marco was like, okay, well, I got the 50-50 wrong. now I gotta hope for like a misplay from my opponent, because even if I land this Icicle Crash, I will lose the 1v1 with Instant against Instant in the long run. But wow, time and time again, Kinugawa, just continues to amaze us with their predictions here. And yeah, this battle has been going on for so long. The timer now coming out. What a finish to this tournament. But it seems like Kinugawa has just done it. Incineroar goes down, and the star of the show, very fittingly, this Terra Poison Landorus can deliver the final blow. There it is, Earth Power, Janpao goes down, and Kinugawa is the Winter Invitational champion.
What a run, too, right? Like, he ended up coming from the winner side, so he didn't drop a single set throughout the course of this, and it was just absolutely dominant. He made Landorus look really incredible, but then also had these unique elements in Thundurus and Iron Bundle as well, and I think Landorus, to me, just felt like the clear MVP of his composition. It was doing so much damage and also surviving attacks, and just what spectacular play by him. And I think in this final game, the decision to commit Ghost Terra to Incineroar, it made sense in trying to have a switch it into the Landorus, but then it made the end game much harder for Marco, because both the Chien-Pao as well as the Incineroar kind of pinned by the Landorus and the Incineroar from the opposing side.
Yeah, what a match. I think there's so much in there to like go back and rewatch in terms of like, okay, positioning, but also then when these players like strike, when they see, okay, now my opponent is going for this protect and switch play. And it happened for both of them relatively often, but somehow Kinugawa was coming out on top there time and time again. This Landorus just proving to be too powerful. And yeah, very, very deservingly, you mentioned it, without dropping a set, Kinugawa taking home the title and winning the event.
It's just so impressive. Like, if his run in VGC in the last, like, 6 months alone has been absolutely insane, right? It was, like, top 8 at NAIC, and then 1 LAIC, 1 Japanese Nationals, and then, you know, an event like this, obviously 4 players, not the highest of stakes, but it's truly proving why he is, you know, one of the best players in the world, if not the best, right? Like, just such impressive play by him throughout this event.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you mentioned it. We had a look at his accomplishments before the tournament started, and well, he can add another one to that. They're winning the Winter Invitational. Yeah, I mean, like, who's stopping this guy? Like, very recently, really on a tear through events, and yeah, innovating as well while he does it. Whether it was with that Typhlosion team at LAIC, or now it's the Iron Bundle and Thundurus. Who would have thought that that is maybe the answer, or one way to answer the balance of teams? And well, he had some, I think there was a little bit of fortune, like luck that he had here and there. But yeah, let's not forget, in the second game against Marco, he actually double missed the Wild Bolt Storm, which definitely put him on the back foot. Ended up losing that game. But yeah, kept cool and takes home the set and the championship.
Such a fun event to watch, and I feel like the level of play was just so high, which is exactly what you hope for when you bring all the best players in the world together, right? So congratulations to Kinugawa, and also, yeah, I think just awesome to both see the level of play and then also see players bring their twists on what they think can be good in the format, especially with RegF having returned, but, you know, no majors really having taken place yet. I think Kinugawa's team is definitely one to watch out for, because I don't think Iron Bundle and Thundurus, like you mentioned, were on a lot of people's radars coming into this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like that, we have crowned our champion. And this is it from the Winter Invitational. Thank you so much for tuning in and for watching. It's been something that I've wanted to do for a while, having like high-level events with just a couple of players. Like, I know we have many great tournaments out there, but it's always like so many players and so many rounds, and then you only get to feature one. Yeah, I hope you had a great time watching this, and yeah, definitely leave some feedback on our socials at Summit VGC, and also myself at 13Yoshi37. Also want to give a big shout out to my co-casters. Thank you, Aaron, for getting up early. Thank you so much, Lou. I know you're probably lurking in the call. I don't know if you're still around, but yeah, it was a lot of fun covering these high-level games together with you. Thanks a lot also to our players who took this really seriously, I thought, committing their day and also preparation time to come up with yeah, very good teams to give us a show. And I also want to give a special shout out to the German VGC Gemeinde and especially Daniel Swift2C, who helped a lot with the graphics and putting everything together. So thank you a lot for that. Yeah, last but not least, thanks also to Billa for running some of the tournament operations in the shadows, and then also to you, the viewers. The VOD is going up on YouTube soon, TM. But yeah, if you follow us on socials, then you will figure out about that. If you have any feedback, any comments for this format, anything else you want to see in the future, again, reach out to me. And yeah, I think that's it. I don't know. Aaron, any final words from your side?
Yes, I was going to say thank you very much for organizing and for having me. Super fun to be a part of.
All right. And yeah, with that, thank you so much. Happy New Year. And yeah, see you soon.